Well, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and the Los Angeles Lakers got off to a rough start against the Golden State Warriors in the 7th seed play-in last night. It ended up with a 13-point deficit at halftime. LeBron and the Lakers finally get it together. It's capped off by a LeBron 30-foot game winner that was incredible. You know, I've watched a lot of basketball this season. And for most, this season has been categorized as the year where you're watching the game. Sometimes it's cool. Even the finish is sometimes cool. But oftentimes you're like, man, Joel Embiid ain't playing. Or Ben Simmons ain't playing. Or Kevin Durant ain't playing. Or Kyrie ain't playing. Or LeBron ain't playing. Or AD ain't playing. Jamal Murray ain't playing. It's become this season of, yeah, this is cool. But if I'm trying to think in the future here, it's tough to do that because we've missed so many key guys throughout. It's been really tough to fully engage into the season. And I know the Warriors without Klay Thompson, but it was good to just see stars that we know were going to be available, meaning Klay's been out the entire year. It was good to see Steph. Draymond, I thought, played an exceptional game guarding Anthony Davis, especially in the first half. And then to see LeBron and AD out there, seemingly the best version of them we've seen in a few months now. It was great to see the stars out there, and Steph Curry was sensational. LeBron was great down the stretch. AD had a nice little run there in the third, fourth quarter where he got going. It was great, man. That was a great game to watch, and I'm probably a little biased because my Lakers won. I try to admit to you guys when I have a little bit of biasy that I try to keep to a minimum, but it was a great game to watch, and it was capped off by LeBron drilling a game winner over Steph Curry. I mean, that's a big game. You know, you lose that game, Memphis is going to be a problem. I actually think Memphis is going to beat Golden State tomorrow, right? Like that, like be clear. Like this is a big game. You do not want to play a young team in Memphis, nothing to lose for either you get in the playoffs or you're going home for the summer. So that was a big game, and I thought that was a big-time performance. But I want to focus here on LeBron, right? A lot of conversations happening today about LeBron James. Now, I am a Lakers fan. Kobe was my guy. I try to set off that disclaimer. But LeBron is a Laker now, people. All right? He's representing my organization. As long as he wears that purple and gold, he's our guy. He's my guy. AD's my guy, right? And I get to see this weird area of LeBron naysayers and super LeBron fans. I'm like dead in the between it because, again, I'm rooting for LeBron, but again, Kobe was my guy. Right? And at one point in time, I was the Kobe naysayer. Or excuse me, the LeBron naysayer. But now, he's my guy. So I'm more here than I am there. But you understand where I'm at. I've never seen an athlete more polarizing than LeBron. Like, it is wild to me. I'm seeing a lot of conversations about LeBron and his clutchness. And I felt like I put it the best way possible in which I do believe LeBron James is clutch. Right? Whether he's clutch because of certain situations. What I mean by this is like LeBron clearly loves getting those go-ahead buckets up when the score is tied, right? Like when he's at his best when there's really nothing to lose. I will admit that when the score is tied, if I miss this shot, we still got a chance to get the ball back and get a score. Or if I miss this shot, worst case scenario, we go to overtime. And guys like Kobe and Mike, they seem to relish with the being down one, being down two, trying to take the three. They loved that. Being down one, that if we miss, we lose. If we make, we go home the winner. That deflating feeling you give that crowd when you're on the road knocking down that shot. We know Mike and Kobe love those moments, right? That specific shot. LeBron likes it when the score is tied. Nothing to lose. He can heave that 30-foot jump shot to win. That long three-pointer to win the game. He's been the best at that in that particular situation. To me, two things can be true. Will I ever say LeBron was as clutch as Kobe or Mike? Absolutely not. The numbers lie sometimes. You know, LeBron's only trailing Kobe Bryant, and it's close. Like, they're like right tit for tat. He might be almost tied with him right now in go-ahead baskets with situations that classify as clutch. LeBron only trails Kobe in that department. I think the number's like 96 to 97, something like that. Like, LeBron's career has been long. It's been great, sensational. I mean, obviously he's been so great. Most of it, his gains have been magnified, which he's brought out the best in a lot of the teams that he's faced, right? So he's been on that stage more. Teams take him much more serious than they do other guys. I will never say, though, Kobe wasn't as clutch as LeBron. I will never say LeBron was clutcher than Kobe or Mike. I can't personally do that because I got eyes. I got eyes. My eyes tell me LeBron wants to pass when his team's down 2. That's what my eyes tell me. But that doesn't mean I'll go as far as to say LeBron isn't clutch. All that means is I don't think LeBron is as clutch as Kobe or Mike. And I think that's an important thing to establish in this convo. Because if you are a person that believes LeBron is the greatest of all time or is still in the running to become the greatest of all time, I think he still has a chance. He's not my GOAT. I think he still has a chance to do it. He's still playing, right? If you believe that LeBron can be the GOAT, he doesn't need to be the clutchest ever to achieve that in my world. I mean, if we already acknowledge this dude is a top 5 passer all time, he doesn't need to be the best clutch player. And to me, there needs to be nuance. For me to not acknowledge that LeBron's much clutcher than, I don't know, pretty much most of the league today, he not named maybe a Kyrie Irving, maybe. But, I mean, LeBron is proven more than James Harden. Like, we bring up LeBron not being quote-unquote clutch more than a James Harden. Joel Embiid ain't showing me a lot of clutch moments, right? Like, we can go around the league. I love Jason Tatum. Like, these guys ain't just knocking down go-ahead buckets left and right. Luka, like, there has to be nuance to a conversation. Not being as clutch as Mike or Kobe, to me, is not a disrespect to the legacy of LeBron James. Like, I just think two things can be true. To me, he don't want them shots as much as Kobe did, as much as Mike did. But damn it, he definitely wants them shots more than Devin Booker does. He definitely embraces that moment than a lot of the young stars do. He's been in that moment a lot more than Kevin Durant has been, oftentimes because of the teams that KD's been on, from Russell Westbrook hogging that thing to playing with Steph and Clay and now Kyrie and Harden. Oftentimes, KD's just on the court, not taking the late shot. So that's weird to me because LeBron has oftentimes taken the shot a lot more than a Kevin Durant. Even though I think Kevin Durant's a better scorer than LeBron, who's clutcher? LeBron takes the shot more than KD. As much as you think LeBron doesn't take those clutch shots, he takes them more and makes them more than Kevin Durant. That's a fact, by the way. So we don't say Kevin Durant's not a clutch guy because in our minds, we've convinced ourselves that KD is one of the greatest scorers of all time, which I believe he is, and he makes every clutch shot that he takes, which in theory, because of injuries have kind of derailed KD a little bit over the last few years, and because of the teams he's played on, he ain't nowhere near taking the amount of clutch shots as LeBron. We just keep comparing LeBron to Kobe or Mike only. Look, Kobe and Mike were different in that regard. I don't think it's disrespectful to the legacy of LeBron James to say he's not Kobe and Mike in the clutch.